Looking at the highs across the state, you're going to see the Grand Canyon and Flagstaff are going to be in the high 40s, the Rim in the 50s, and then all the way over here in Yuma, the high is going to be at 82 degrees. And the reason it's the hottest is because even though we had all that rain recently, this area is still being affected by the drought.
I know, the sun is back and I am ready to get my tan on. Girl, I don't know about you guys.
I'm with you, yes.
Yes. We're here at the beautiful Grand Canyon on Earth Day talking to the park staff about what they're doing to keep visitors safe. Destructive artwork like this can get so deep into the rocks that it can take up to weeks to remove. There's a lot at stake when it comes to how much snow is on the ground. A bad snowpack means less water for reservoirs and rivers, and in a time of drought, every drop matters. Right now, volunteers and government employees around the country are measuring snowpack. University of Arizona researchers are combining that data and building on it. University of Arizona professor Zubin Zhang leads this study. He says his team's work will change how people keep track of snowpack in the future.
Before, we only have good measurements over specific points, say your own backyard. Now, if you want to tell your neighbors what the snowpack change for your neighborhood and adjacent areas, you don't know because your backyard could be different from your neighbors.
Zhang says his data provides that answer.
Not for your backyard, but for your neighborhood and surrounding areas. And we can do that for every neighborhood in the U.S.
The cold work took place out in the field, while others compiled data in the lab. Then they mapped changes in snow mass across the U.S. over 35 years onto 2.5 by 2.5 mile square grids. Zhang and his team have discovered some decline in snowpack in the West.
There are areas, large areas, having significant snowpack decline, and we need to take actions.
The team has been collecting snowpack data since 1981. Zhang says there hasn't been a decline in snowpack in the eastern U.S.
Most of the areas do not see the significant decrease.
But there is enough decline in areas in the West. If you add them up, it's the same size as South Carolina. Associate research scientist Patrick Broxton says they often use creative technology for measurements.
A number of my colleagues are working with drones, and we just thought it would be a good way to measure snow depth because they're using it for similar types of purposes.
These researchers are so passionate about their studies because their findings could help predict changes in the water cycle and climate change. Here in Arizona, snowmass directly impacts the Colorado River.
Less snowpack means less water through the Colorado River. That means less water for Arizona.
While the snow may look deep, the trends over years are what really tell the true story of snow. In Tucson, Jodi Guerrero, Cronkite News. Estos migrantes llegaron después de un largo viaje. Un autobús del Servicio de Inmigración los trasladó a esta iglesia en Phoenix. Muchos de ellos están agotados. Angélica Ortiz de la organización 100 Angels ayuda a atender a los migrantes. Ella dice que ve muchas de las mismas dolencias.
Deshidratación, tienen mucho dolor de cabeza, dolor de cuerpo, gripa.
100 Angels ofrece servicios de la salud física, mental y espiritual a los migrantes.
Centrar en los hogares de las comunidades más vulnerables y experimentar sus necesidades, para entonces crear soluciones reales y efectivas para mejorar la calidad de vida.
Estos migrantes son parte de los más de 800,000 detenidos en la frontera del suroeste del país, según estadísticas de 2019 de Aduanas y Protección Fronteriza. Una familia viajó a través de México, dejando a su hija de 4 años en Guatemala. Cronkite Noticias habló con el padre bajo condición de anonimato debido a su estatus migratorio pendiente. El padre dice que su hija estaba enferma y no tenían atención médica.
Los hospitales a veces no tienen ni doctores, nada.
Sometimes the hospitals
Sí.
don't even have doctors.
No hay medicinas. ¿no?
Para algunos, esta es la mejor atención médica que han recibido. In Phoenix, Jodi Guerrero, Cronca Noticias. These students are studying to become physicians at the University of Arizona College of Medicine in Phoenix. According to the Association of American Medical Colleges, the amount of physicians in the U.S. declines as the demand goes up. They predict losing about 122,000 physicians by 2032. The U.S. Census Bureau reports the nation's population will grow by over 10% by the same time. And in the next 10 years, 1/3 of all active doctors will be over the age of 65. Jennifer Acevedo Pastrana attends College America to become an X-ray technician. She says she wants to help as many people as she can. She's recently noticed the decline of students at her school.
A lot just come in, check it out, but they don't stay long enough because they think it's too long, it's too much.
Dean Guy Reed of the University of Arizona College of Medicine says Arizona produces 200 new doctors each year. They just got clearance to increase their class size to 100, and they want to continue to increase this number. Reed says the solution begins with physician residents.
Not only training new doctors, but finding new ways to train them as residents and keep them in Arizona has to be our focus.
The AAMC says if physician's assistants or nurses had a bigger role, it would only reduce the shortage by about 1%. Medicare stopped increasing the number of resident slots they would support in 1997 as part of the Balance of Budget Act. According to Reed, longer waiting times, reduced access, and possibly cost increases will result from this shortage. He also says the shortage is already noticeable to some, although even those with more resources will see it in the next 10 years if something isn't done. Kim Watson has been forced to change doctors many times, and the shortage brings her anxiety of more emerging issues.
Having to wait a long time to see a doctor, honestly, all my friends and I are starting to get older. We have never needed doctors like this before, and it's a challenge.
In Arizona, rural areas feel it the most, but there are still urban areas that do too. In Phoenix, Jodi Guerrero, Cronkite News.